Welcome to the Dispatch and Argus Press Box, sponsored by Zeglin's TV and Appliance. I'm Marc Nesseler. This is Daniel Makarewicz. And it is the weekend of the Genesis Shootout, which comes Saturday. 7 games, long day, good games. But before that, fun day. Great. I love covering that, as do you.
Yes.
Before that, though, we got some big 6 games on Friday night.
Well, and you look at, you know, the key, there's not a key matchup per se in terms of where the race is right now. Maybe the key one would be UT hosting Rock Island.
Galesburg, Quincy.
Galesburg, Quincy. Again, Quincy's traditionally been a tough place for Galesburg to win at, like everyone else. But Galesburg kind of comes in with an edge after winning at Wharton on Friday and then winning at Champaign Centennial. Very good Champaign Centennial team. But so one of those is not in our backyard, but probably the best matchup may be Rock Island at United Township. UT 0-2 in the Big Six, and talking with Coach Polite, you know, they feel like, you know, what's funny is people may be pushing the panic button with UT, but they're 4-3. They're 0-2 in the Big Six,
but they're why the panic button. But
they're 4-3.
There's a lot of talent.
There is talent
that is going to, and now is about the time when that talent for most teams comes through right before the holiday tournament. During the holiday tournament, you see some of those teams start to gel. Moline Alleman, I think, could hinge on health.
Yeah.
I mean, Moline, I covered them Saturday at Joliet Central, and I was afraid to walk in the locker room. There was germs everywhere. You know, I needed some disinfectant. I'm talking to Coach Schimmel, and the last thing he says is, I think I may be getting what they've got. And I said, okay, that's the last question. We're done. And so I looked for players.
And he said several guys on the trip back home from Joliet got sick, and Coach Schimmel had to cancel practice on Monday because everybody was sick.
And here's the crazy thing. They played a great game.
Correct.
They had a lot of different
without 3 starters.
Without 3 starters. Mitchell Owens with 9 rebounds. You know, Darius Martin, 7
good
rebounds.
Sophomore. I mean, that's a sophomore and a junior stepping up right there.
Jordan Borkhart, his first start.
Steady backup point guard.
But he paved the way for potential starter right there.
He's a steady backup. And Coach Schimmel has talked for a long time. We have a little bit more depth. You can't say that it's the most talented roster top to bottom in the Western Big Six, but there are guys in there who kind of understand the roles, and they do a good job of filling out those roles.
Now, that being said, Alleman, I watched them against Rocky, and even though they got beat, you know, by
an expected
margin, they shot extremely well. They handled the ball. They were just outplayed by a better team.
If they can consistently hit shots, and if they cannot turn the ball over, that's a team that really is going to cause some problems. Now, it may not be in the Western Big Six Conference, but it will be, you know, going up in the Newman tournament. It could be that one. It could be against Davenport North on Saturday at the shootout. I mean, if Alleman can just kind of maintain confidence, they're going to be fine.
Right. So let's get to that shootout. Iowa's won the last 2.
Correct.
Illinois the 4 before that. The way they set these matchups, they try to match the late games with the tougher teams. But I think they want to come down to a 4-3. Going in, or 3-3 going into that last game with a 4-3 decision. Does it set up that way?
See, I think on paper, I think Alleman can beat North. Geneseo should be able to beat West. Geneseo's playing pretty well.
West hasn't won
ever in the shootout, and they've been in it every single year.
So odds are they have to win sometime.
Probably next year.
Okay.
I think Moline can beat Bettendorf. If Moline can go on the road after a tough game and win at Joliet Central.
I'll tell you what, that Joliet Central team was very athletic.
Yes, I think they were 6-1 going into that game.
And I think Moline only trailed like 5-4 or 5-2 and led the rest of the way, close to the finish. And they had some bad calls down the stretch too. So yeah, I think you're right on that. They're playing like they're capable of winning.
So that's
a sweep on the weekend.
So that's 3. I think Galesburg beats Assumption.
Galesburg's playing
but Galesburg is playing pretty well.
I think that's probably my best bet.
So you look at that, at least on paper. Riverdale, Central, a lot of people think
Riverdale's 3-1 in the shootout.
Yeah, Riverdale, they have some experience.
And they're the only class
2A,
1A, 2A, you know, they're not.
Alleman technically should be, but we're not going to get in the multiplier situation. But the last game, Rock Island, North Scott, that should be a really good matchup.
That place should be packed.
It should.
North Scott, 3 scholarship signees.
Northwest Missouri State with with Graham Seals going to North Dakota. Marlon Stewart, who grew up in the Rock Island system, going to Creighton, but then you have Rock Island with Tyler Hall going to Montana State. I like how Rock Island's guards are playing, and you look at the stats. Rock Island is like 6 guys who average 7 points or more.
Here's my crazy Rock Island stat from the press box this week. Larry Dixon, 9 for 13 beyond the arc.
Wow.
That is like 7%.
Very good.
I don't have the calculator.
I've always liked Larry Dixon. I think that he's a very, very good player.
A confident shooter, though.
Very confident.
And boy, you talk about roles, and he knows his role perfectly. So that's the 8:30
game.
So, get there early, get a seat, stay the whole time. Might come down to that, but you're saying no.
I think 4-3. I think 4-3.
I'm thinking 5-2
Perhaps.
just to be different.
And
because you'll owe me if I'm right.
Make sure to read the Dispatch Argus on Sunday, or just every day in general, for the best coverage ever.
There you go. Can't say it any better.
Merry Christmas.
All right, stay tuned next week for our tournament press box, also sponsored by Zeglin's TV and Appliance. Thank you very much.